Poker Tour. The biggest games, the greatest players, and the largest payouts on the planet. The WPT is a series of international high-stakes poker tournaments that can turn amateur players into millionaires and make professionals into superstars. With millions of dollars on the line, it's time for these 4 players to live the dream of fame, fortune, and the one thing money can't buy, a WPT title. Tonight on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the beautiful Connecticut countryside. We are at one of the truly magnificent stops on the tour, the Foxwoods Resort Casino, for the conclusion of the Foxwoods Poker Classic. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten, and this is the WPT.
Well, Mike, you are absolutely right. The land here is simply breathtaking. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. We're in the middle of a beautiful forest, and the locals actually nicknamed this the Emerald City. Now, for one player tonight, one lucky player, the dream of poker greatness is about to become a reality.
Well, that's right, Vince. But as you know early on, that for some players, that dream turned into a nightmare. If you missed the early action, let's take a look at what happened. Well, Amnon stubbed his toe a little bit right there. Alex Perlberg is going to double up.
This was the right time.
The king!
The king of hearts comes on the river. He hit the 2-outer to stay alive.
Amnon, if I go out, I want it to be you.
If he's ahead, then he's going to lose. If he's behind, he'll probably win.
Alex Perlberg, he is eliminated in 5th place.
Good luck to you, okay?
He's going to lay it down.
Well, they call him Hot Cheese, and right now he's the Big Cheese.
The ex-Navy man is going to do here.
400.
Well, he's getting out the guns. Now, Vadim, you know, it looks like he's gone to one of those famous acting schools in New York.
Yeah, that would be the Tory Spelling Academy, I believe.
I call.
Oh, that is going to hurt. He can't get away from that.
Vadim is going to take down over $1 million pot to extend his chip lead.
Wow, what a pull-up.
That was sick, huh?
The rich get richer.
Play.
Well, poker dreams are about to be made. It is time to shuffle up a deal, so let's go watch him gamble. All right, the Andes are going to start out at 4,000. The blinds 15 and 30 as the cards are being dealt.
Well, 4 players left. 2 of these players have been at a WPT final table before. 2 have it. All 4 going for their first WPT title.
Okay, and with a quick
80.
fold by Vadim Trincher, Amnon Felipe with ace-jacks makes it 80,000 to go.
I call.
Lenny out, but Hot Cheese Matt Castorella with a king-jack makes a quick call.
Yep, he's got the Kojak and makes the call. He's dominated, but what a flop.
Oh,
it's
man.
come King-Jack 8.
And he checks it.
Matt quickly checks. Amnon now, with second pair and
120.
top kicker, is going to bet 120,000.
Yep. Dream flop for Hot Cheese. That's his nickname they gave him, but
Chris.
it has no real meaning other than just a name.
Oh, I love this name. He's going to raise it, though. Makes it $320,000 now, so it's a $200,000 raise that's quickly called by Amnon.
Yep, Amnon's kind of suspicious, saying maybe this guy's on a draw here. He's made the call.
And Deuce of clubs comes off.
I'm all in.
Oh, he's all in. It's about a $1.5 million bet, which is more chips than Amnon has.
What are you scared of? You got a draw?
And it's such a big bet. Amnon's thinking to himself, is this guy on a draw trying to just muscle me out?
King, queen. Or king, jack, a call, king, jack. Cards.
Well, Amnon trying to put the piece of this puzzle together. He puts his opponent on a draw and makes this call.
Why would you move all in?
He could be out in 4th place because he needs an ace.
What are you scared of?
That's the only card he can catch to win it.
Why would you move all in? Why would you move all in?
What a decision for Amnon Felipe.
Pretty sure you don't want me to call.
His 4th time at a WPT final table. He'd love to take home his first title.
This has got to be a bluff.
Tournament life is on the line here.
All right, show me a bluff.
Dreams of capturing a WPT title would most likely be out the door if he made the call, but he does fold.
Yep, he says, show me the bluff.
I'll show one.
Matt is showing him the jack,
I had you.
where Amnon thinks he had the best hand with the ace-jack.
Wow. You'd be sick of that call.
Unless you see 2 cards at a poker table, you can never trust the man. Amnon, you should know better.
Good bluff.
All right, we are just getting started. 4 players here at Foxwoods. We're coming right back on the World Poker Tour.
Well, some of the big players have won here at Foxwoods before. You got Jonathan Little, Hoyt Corkins, Nick Schulman.
Nick Schulman, at 21 years young, has captured the World Poker Finals Championship.
Nick, what is it about Foxwoods that you like so much?
I don't know. There's just some luck in the air for me here at the Foxwoods.
Nick Schulman, congratulations.
You know, just the overall atmosphere here at the Foxwoods. You know, it's a magical place.
We are back here at the World Poker Tour at Foxwoods. 4 players remain. Started out this event with 259 players. We got some great players here going after this $750,000 here tonight.
Well, our chip leader is the guy that came to this final table as the chip leader. Successful businessman Vadim Trencher. Action on him, and he folds.
Yep. Amnon Felipe out of New York City also folding.
Now we're on the retired Navy man, Lenny Cordolino, making his second WPT final table appearance. Looks down a queen 5 of diamonds.
80.
He's going to raise it to 80,000.
Now you notice that Lenny actually wears his sunglasses upside down. How do you like that?
Well, he's a lifelong Navy man, Vince. That's what happens when you spend a life at sea, man.
Actually, I think he says he wears it because he can see down at the cards when they're upside down, but the other players can't see his eyes.
In the meantime, Matt, the hot cheese, makes the call with the king 7 of clubs. What a flop for Lenny here. He's got top pair and a flush draw. And he quickly stacks out there. Looks like 105,000.
I call.
And Matt
has no hand and no draw, makes the call with the king 7 here. It tells me he's looking to steal this pot later some kind of way. We're going to try to. Well, 8 of hearts comes off, and he's going to check here with the 2 5s and the flush draw.
225.
And that's exactly what Hot Cheese was trying to do. He's going to try to steal it right now.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work with this kind of draw here.
A $225,000 bet. He's been called.
Well over 800,000 in the pot right now. Here comes the river card. 8 of diamonds comes off. Lenny Cordolino, the ex-Navy man, has made the flush. He's going to check.
Throwing the rope there. The hot cheese.
Look at the hot cheese, Vince.
Oh, boy. He's going to turn into cheese bits very quickly.
Well, I can tell you, the hot cheese is going to be a rat caught in a mousetrap here.
Yep, it's a $500,000 bet.
Well, Lenny now going into the acting mode. Yes, the board is paired. Yes, his opponent could have a bigger flush, but I just can't imagine he's not going to call this, at least, which he did call. And Lenny's going to take down a very nice pot here, over $1.8 million in this pot.
To the delight of Pauline, his wife, and his mother, Ann.
Oh, anchors away, my friend. Ship me the cheese.
Actually, I hope you don't have a full house with that, but I don't know. I didn't want to get showing.
Look at Lenny, his second final table here on the World Poker Tour. He finished in 6th place at the World Poker Finals a few years back, and right now, tons of chips in front of him. All right, antes are staying at 4,000, but the blinds are going up to 20 and 40,000.
Well, we've seen Matt Castorella try to make that play several times at this final table. It hasn't worked yet. Calling on the flop with no hand and no draw and then betting later, but you got to admire the guy's heart.
Let's go to this hand. Amnon with king 9 of diamonds, making it 100,000. Lenny going to take a breather, and hot cheese now.
275.
Matt Castorella with an ace 10 is going to raise.
Well, he's going to come over the top of that hand.
Makes it 275. Behind him, Vadim with a pair of 8s.
Well, he's got that middle pair. Pot's been raised and re-raised, just doesn't want to get involved. Lays it down.
Interesting lay down, and now it's back on Amnon.
He's on the short stack right now with 4 players left, so knows any one of these guys could bust him if he gets involved with a pot with him. So he's going to lay down the king 9. So the hot cheese takes down the pot there.
Well done by the Poker Pro out of White Plains, New York. Stay with us. We're coming back with more action on the World Poker Tour.
Let's see it.
You just say yes to everything, huh?
Tonight's World Poker Tour brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net.
Trencher. I will check call him down with ace high every time. I just constantly think he's bluffing.
I don't know what to say.
You know, he wants to inflict pain on you, so he's going to put everyone to a test as often as possible.
Yeah, it's true. With somebody else, maybe they throw the raises card. But with me, they cannot throw it.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. They are talking about our chip leader, Vadim Tricher. But right now, he's got 2.6 million in front of him.
Well, he plays a lot of pots like the great players Phil Ivey and Gus Hansen. Those guys are betting so much, nobody believes him because they steal so many pots. Same holds true for Vadim. These guys just don't believe him when he bets.
All right, to the table we go. 4-handed action, 2 quick folds, and on Vadim, who looks down at an ace-5 offsuit.
Now, once again, seemingly, Vadim and Amnon play a lot of pots together.
110.
Here they're both in the blinds. And here Vadim's going to raise it to 110,000 to go.
And Amnon's going to call it with his queen 10.
So we're going to see a flop here. Vadim the chip leader, Amnon on the short stack, and the flop comes ace, ace, deuce. Vadim has flopped 3 aces and checks.
Yep. Digging the hole, putting the branches and twigs over it, waiting for the sucker to fall in. Is it Amnon? I'm thinking yes.
150.
There you go.
Well, 150,000 Amnon is betting.
Back to the Russian, who played this so coyly.
Vince, we've seen this happen several times at this final table. When he's got a hand, he checks it, and seemingly Amnon bets every time.
200 more.
There you go. Comes back with the raise of 200 in addition.
Well, there you saw the look by Amnon.
Oh, boy.
Have you really got an ace? I just can't believe it.
And you see, that's like a shocked look, like when if your wife just told you that she wants a divorce. That's the look Amnon had right there. It was just like absolutely. Are you kidding, honey? I mean, it's just very disturbing. But Vadim making the most out of that check raise. 4-handed action. Vadim extends his chip lead to close to 2.8. Action going, though, to Lenny Cortolino, ex-Navy man.
Aircraft carrier folds.
Matt Castorella also going out. And now Vadim with just a junky 6-4. Gonna call this.
Right behind him, Amnon has the jack-6 of hearts, says give us a flop. And here comes the flop, and what a flop for Vadim. He's flopped the bottom 2 pair.
Well, this is the way you win tournaments, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he's going to bet, looks like 55,000. Amnon has middle pair. And against this guy, as these players have told you time and time again, you just don't believe he's got a hand. So when he gets one like this, it gets paid off. But when he gets outdrawn on the turn, it could cost him a lot. Amnon finally catching a card to take the lead. He has a better 2 pair.
What a great card for Amnon right there. And Vadim first to act. Gonna make another bet. 115,000.
Well, there are 3 clubs out there, so there is a possible club flush out there.
Now, what would you do, Mike? Do you come back over the top, find out where you are?
I would, Vince. I'd raise right here. If he's got the flush, he just got it. But if he just had 1 club and another club came up, I'd be sick that I didn't raise it.
But you know what? He's a little scared of Vadim here. He's just going to call it.
Well, he does just call, so let's see what happens from here.
Will that backfire for Amnon?
Well, Queen of Diamonds on the river.
So they both still have their 2 pair.
Yeah, over 430,000 in this pot. Action's on Vadim. He has the bottom 2 pair. And Vince, he's got to think they're good by the way this hand's been played.
130.
Yep.
He's going to bet 130,000. Well, Amnon just calls.
A little TC fly bet for the amount of the pot.
What a great bet by Vadim there to save money, in my opinion. He made a scary defensive bet, and Amnon just called rather than raised. Amnon takes down the pot.
Well, we have 4 players remaining. This one's up for grabs at Foxwoods. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action on the World Poker Tour.
Well, my experience in the Navy taught me great discipline. I'm pretty even keel. Nothing really rattles me, especially at the poker table. I take it in stride. I do my homework, and I do the best I can.
We are back at Foxwoods here on the World Poker Tour, and that is Lenny Cortolino, a retired Navy man who has a shot at taking home the first place prize of $750,000 here tonight.
Well, you have to respect those that serve our country, especially that serve it for a career in the military, as Lenny Cortolino has done, 21 years in the Navy. Hard to root against those kind of people.
Yes, it is. But back to the table we go. They call him hot cheese. Matt Castorella quickly folding an 8-3.
Our chip leader, Vadim Tricher, lays down an 8 deuce.
And now Amnon with an ace-10 just calling.
He just limps in to try to camouflage the strength of his hand.
But Lenny with a pretty good king-queen here. What will he do with it?
Well, most people might raise in this situation after the guy limped in front of him, but Lenny takes the conservative route and says, okay, let's just see a flop here.
Both slow play and quality hands, and here's the flop.
Oh, a nice flop for Lenny as he's flopped top pairs. Come king, 9, deuce. Amnon checks. And Lenny is going to bet.
Yeah, he's going to bet 50,000 with his kings.
And this is what happens when you slow play before the flop. You don't know what to do when you check and your opponent bets here. Do you have the best hand or not? Now a 10 comes off on the turn, giving Amnon second pair with top kicker. A card that might get him in a little trouble.
Checked again, and Lenny with the kings betting 100 grand.
Now Amnon calls him with the 2 10s. So nearly 400,000 in the pot right now.
Down to the river we go. 7 doesn't help either player.
Well, again, Amnon checks.
150.
And Lenny looking to get the value bet in here. Bets 150,000 with top pair.
Just picking him to death here.
King, queen.
He gets the call he wants.
That's good.
So the ex-Navy man picking up a nice pot there.
To the absolute delight of his mother Ann and his wife Pauline. Nicely done by Lenny. Lenny is from Lewiston, Maine. He's 45 years old. 14th WPT tournament, his 4th WPT cash.
Vince, he says he only plays when he wins satellites to get in these big tournaments. He won a $1,000 satellite to get into this tournament, and what a parlay this could be for him.
Yes, it could. And with that last hand, the antes are going up to 5,000. Blinds 25 and 50. Back to the table we go. This time, Amnon, the hat off for the first time tonight. Peaks down into 10-7. Won't play that mess.
Oh, now Lenny has picked up 2 10s.
125.
He's going to raise it, makes it 125,000 to go.
Next in order is Matt. He's got ace, deuce of diamonds.
Now the hot cheese wants to see a flop with his hand, so he's going to make the call.
Now the chip leader, the Russian living out of New York, Vadim Trinchy. He's got big slick, ace king here.
Oh, he's got a real hand.
What do we have?
We've got about 1.1 left, 1.2 maybe.
Well, wants to know how many chips everybody's got.
Yep.
Close.
Very curious. Makes him talk, tries to get a read on him.
Raise.
And there comes the raise.
Well, I don't think how many chips they had influenced his betting. It's what he's got. The reason he's betting, ace king of hearts, $300,000 raise.
Lenny is going to make the pretty tight laydown here.
What do you got, queens or kings?
And Matt cannot play.
Show the bluff.
Well, that was a big laydown, but I believe against either of the other 2 players, he would have played that hand. He's in second chip position now, and you can tell he just wants to avoid playing a pot against Vadim while he's sitting in second chip position.
It's anywhere on TV. I don't have to show anything.
Absolutely not.
They're gonna edit that one.
Maybe it's not even on TV.
If it's not on TV, I would show.
Let's go to this hand. Here we go. Amnon Felipe, a quick fold. Lenny Cordellino also going out.
So now we're down to the battle of the blinds. It's Matt, the hot cheese, Castorella, who looks down at ace king and makes a nice raise.
Yep. And Vadim right behind him has a pair of 10s.
That's both blinds have a big hand.
About 1,500,000.
Well, Vadim has re-raised this.
And he's bet 275,000. And quickly, Matt goes all in.
Yep, hot cheese says all in.
Well, Vadim not really liking it, but this is a huge all-in bet of nearly $1 million more.
Okay, cool.
Oh, he's going to make this call.
Can't blame him. We've got the classic race situation. The 2 10s versus the 2 overcards, the ace king.
Good luck, sir.
Matt Castorella must win this pot to stay alive in this tournament. Ironically, if he wins the pot, he'll be the chip leader at this final table.
Vadim with a pair of 10s.
And I don't think you can fault either player for getting all their chips in before the flop here against the blind.
Let's see what happens.
Oh!
A king comes up.
Well, even though Matt has outflopped him and taken the lead, Matt has been outdrawn on the river twice when his opponent's been all in. He knows that Vadim can catch a 10 or a queen and win this pot. Now 6 of diamonds on the turn. Matt's just saying to himself, come on, just let me get by the river card one time. Yes, 3 of spade comes off. And Matt has taken the chip lead here. So the hot cheese has become the big cheese at this final table.
Yes, he has. The complete delight of his fans and friends. And for the first time tonight, Vadim taking a hit there.
Well, he took a hit, Vince, but you certainly can't fault for the way he played that pot. Just unfortunate for him, he lost the race.
Stay with us. More action coming up on the World Poker Tour.
There's so many ways you can become a better poker player now. There's written materials that you can read, but there's also things like the WPT boot camp where you go and you get hands-on instruction at the table. Poker is so much more than just about the 2 cards that you have. You know, it's about reading your opponents. You know, what should you do in late position as opposed to early position at the poker table? This fundamental math knowledge, pot odds, all these things, they get covered in the WPT boot camps. And once you get comfortable in understanding in every situation what you can do and how you can take advantage of your opponents, it's going to make you a winning poker player. I don't care if you're an amateur player or a pro player. Believe me, poker's a lot more fun when you're winning.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We are at Foxwoods. 4 players remain going after this very prestigious title.
Now, for the first time tonight, we've got a new chip leader. That's Matt, the Hot Cheese Castorella. He's got $2.35 million in chips. In second place, the ex-Navy man, Lenny Cordolino, with $2.1 million. Vadim Trencher now in third place with just under $2 million. And in fourth place, top pro Amnon Philippi with $1.4 million.
Okay, to the felt we go. Action going to Amnon Philippi. And he's going to throw away his 8-3.
Over to the ex-Navy man, Lenny Cordolino. Got the Jack 8 of hearts. Just wants to stay out of the way for a while.
Yep, and now Matt Castorella with 10-8 going to call.
He limps in and calls. Vadim has picked up 2 queens in the big blind. He's going to raise it $100,000.
I call. Makes it $150 to go. Matt's going to splash around, makes the call.
Well, Matt's the one player that said he never believes this guy when he bets. And here comes a flop 10-4 deuce. Matt has flopped top pair. Vadim, of course, has the overpair.
Well, Matt has checked, and now Vadim betting $250,000 with the overpair. The ladies.
Well, Vince, this is part of the problem. When you call raise with marginal hands, you've hit top pair.
Ooh.
Now he's going to raise, and he is headed for quicksand.
He says re-raise here. He says $750,000 to go.
Well, Vince, it's the kind of flop that there's no flush possibilities. No straights. Hard to believe your 2 queens aren't the best hand. He moves all in. And Matt doesn't like it at all.
Nor does his friends and family.
Well, Vince, there's nearly $3 million in the pot right now. It's going to cost Matt about another $1 million to make the call. So he's getting 3-to-1 odds on his money. But
do I even have that?
You know, even aggressive players pick up hands once in a while.
It's such a big pot.
Well, it is a big pot. It's going to be a lot bigger if you call it.
I wish I had 3-5. I would have called already.
Matt looking about as confused as a politician without a teleprompter right now. Just doesn't know what to do.
Well, Vince, all he can beat is a bluff here in my mind.
Do you want me to call?
So if you think your opponent's bluffing, you can call him. If not, you just lay it down and save your $1 million.
What a turning point this could be. It'd be a great lay down.
I call.
Cheese could get away with it, but he doesn't.
Well, he said earlier before the final table started, he just never believes this guy. Maybe he's going to believe him now. 2 WPT champs, Nick Schulman and Eugene Kechelov, along with Vadim's son, Ilya, rooting Vadim on here. He's the big favorite to win this pot and double up here and regain the chip lead.
Jack 3 or something?
A deuce comes off on the turn. That means an 8 won't help Matt anymore. He must catch a 10 on the river to win this pot. Has to make 10s full. Nothing else will do. 6 of clubs comes off. So there you go. Just that quickly after relinquishing the chip lead, he retakes it in the next hand, Vince.
You never believe me.
I thought you were steaming.
The hot cheese turned rotten right there. Got involved over his head.
You really think I am not?
And the table talk continues as 4 players remain.
The only thing I was worried about was my kicker. I thought he was going to show me total air. That's such a bad read.
Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action from Foxwoods in just a moment.
Tonight's broadcast sponsored in part by Southwest. Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
We are back here at Foxwoods for the World Poker Tour. Welcome. 4 players remain, and the blinds are going up to 30 and 60,000.
And once again, our chip leader is successful businessman Vadim Trencher with over $4.2 million in chips. He is in command right now.
All right, to the table we march. It's going to be on Lenny Cortolino, the retired Navy man. He looks down at an ace-7.
Well, he's playing very conservative right now, just trying to move up a notch or two and get more prize money. Lays that hand down.
And now Matt Hot Cheese Castorello has picked up ace-king. He's going to raise with it, 160,000 to go.
He's got to love this hand. He's on the short stack and picked up a big duke.
The Russian has got a pair of 6s.
Should have known you'd ask.
And he says, how much you got again?
1, 2,
Matt
3,
seems annoyed by that.
4, 5, 650, 675 more.
675 more than this?
More than that. Does that blow your mind?
Yeah.
He's a little perturbed by the constant question of how much you got left.
375.
Vadim doesn't care. He's going to come back over the top.
And just that quick, Amnon has gone all in with 2 7s.
Wow.
Jeff, what's the difference between 3rd and 4th?
Now, Hot Cheese says, what is the difference between 3rd and 4th place money? He wants to know.
Well, it's actually a little over 75,000.
That pain look on his face.
Now, Vince, with so much money in the pot already and with your chip count, if you're trying to win a WPT title, I think you got to gamble here with the ace-king.
I'm all in.
But he's going to do it.
Yep, he's going to make the call. I admire him for making it. He could have sat out and let these guys clash, but he's going for the gold.
Now, Vadim is in that tight spot. With just the 6s, another guy coming back over the top and a call.
Tough.
Don't think you can call this at this point.
Yeah, it's going to cost him about another 700,000-800,000 to make the call here. He wins the pot, he could bust 2 players and be down to heads up with a dominating chip lead, so he could afford to make the call, but he's going to lay it down, and it's a wise decision.
Ace king.
As Amnon turns up the 2 7s, Matt turns up the ace-king, and we've got a race situation. And Matt, the Hot Cheese Castorella, his tournament life is on the line.
I wanted to isolate. I know I can't go bust if he folds.
That's just a moment ago. Matt was the chip leader. He played a big pot with ace-king when he had ace-king up against 2 10s and
You
lost.
get to see it first.
Here he's got ace-king against 2 7s. Here's the flop, 9-8 deuce.
Yeah, not going to help. Hot Cheese.
Diamond.
Not the flop he wanted exactly, as his friend seems to be in some type of a weird trance, rooting him on.
Well, Bench, he knows he's got to get lucky and hit 2 running diamonds or an ace or a king to win the pot. The 3 of hearts comes off on the turn. We are down to the river card. The Hot Cheese is going to have to catch an ace or a king on the river, or he's going to turn to buttermilk.
Yeah. Ace-king was his favorite hand, just a few hands back. Can it be this time? No.
Oh, but deuce comes off. So that's going to do it for Matt Castorella. The Hot Cheese melts away in 4th place.
Mr. Trencher, a pleasure.
Fine gentleman, going to pick up 138,000 for his efforts. Well, the Hot Cheese has finally melted. He is out of here.
I feel a little drained. It was a long 6 days. I feel like I played my best, though. I gave it my best shot. Trencher, very tough for me to put him on a hand. That's why I called him with the 10-8, but he actually woke up with a hand for the first time all tournament, so what can you do? I'm sure I'll feel better about it tomorrow.
So the cheese has been grilled. We are down to 3 players.
3 players left.
Action going to Lenny.
Well, the ex-Navy man now in 3rd place with 3 players left. He's been playing real conservative lately, but he's going to have to step it up. He wants to win this title. He's doing it here as he raises it to 150,000.
Yeah, with ace-7 of spades. Vadim quickly folding his hand, but Amnon in the big blind is going to, looks like it's going to call it with an 8-6 of hearts.
He's feeling real good. He just won the last pot to eliminate a player, so let's look at a flop here, he says.
What if I refuse?
And here comes that flop. It's come ace, queen, 6. Amnon has flopped bottom pair and checks. Lenny has flopped top pair, and he is going to bet 150,000 into a pot that's 350,000.
Yeah, pretty small bet. And he gets a call by Amnon.
Well, Amnon's going to gamble here. Oh, and it looks like it might pay off as an 8 comes off on the turn.
Unbelievable.
200.
Amnon now has 2 pair.
And he quickly checks it, and a $200,000 bet by Lenny.
Well, Amnon is rechecking his cards here. Wants to make sure he has hit his turn card.
550.
Well, he is going to raise it here, Vince. It's gone from 200,000 up to 550,000.
What a position now that puts Lenny Cortolino in.
Well, Vince, and he's got a little over $1 million left in chips is all. In my mind, all you can beat here is a bluff.
Moment. I call.
He's gone all in a quick call by Alan Felipe.
Well, the Navy man could be submarined out of here in 3rd place, but he didn't lay this hand down. But on the other hand, he can get lucky.
I need a
catch
queen.
An ace, a queen, or a 7 to win this pot. He must catch one of those 3 cards. Otherwise, he'll be torpedoed out of here.
Here we go. 5th Street here in a moment. Let's take a peek at what it is.
Then he's looking for an ace, queen, or a 7. Let's see if he can get it. Nope. King of Diamonds comes off to the retired Navy man, Lenny Cortolino, out in 3rd place.
All right. Good game. Lenny shaking hands. 214,000 he will pick up for this week's work. So the body count continues to grow here at Foxwoods as we have heads-up action about to begin.
And Vince, many pros would have predicted it would come down to these 2 guys. They came to the final table as the 2 chip leaders. I'm talking about Vadim Trencher and Amnon Philippi, and they are going to fight it out for this title. And incredibly, they're almost dead even in chips as we begin the heads-up match.
Okay, well, we have 2 players left. Heads-up action about to begin, but only one of these players will become a WPT champion. This has got to be exciting for both players going after millions of dollars right in front of us. Stay with us. The heads-up action will begin in just a moment here on the World Poker Tour. Welcome back to Foxwoods for the World Poker Tour. The heads-up battle about to begin. And there he is, Vadim Trencher in 2nd chip position with about 3.8 million. There's our chip leader, Amnon Felipe, with about 3.9.
Well, 2 tough poker players out of New York City fighting it out for this coveted title.
First hand happening right here. And Vadim, look at this. Ace, Queen of Hearts.
Well, that's a monster hand playing heads-up poker.
150.
And Vadim is going to raise it. Makes it 150,000 to go.
Amnon with just a 7 deuce here. And the blinds are still 30 and 60,000.
Wow, he's going to raise it, Vince. He's coming over the top with the worst 2-card starting hand and hold him. The 7 deuce offsuit. He makes it 400,000 to go.
He's just betting on that Vadim has nothing, and of course we know entirely false. Vadim with a big hand. I'm surprised he doesn't re-raise.
Well, he just makes the call here, so we're going to have a flop.
Amnon in quicksand here with a 7 deuce, but so far so good. He hits a pair of deuces.
Well, it's come 10-8 deuce. He's got bottom pair, but he checks. Doesn't make the continuation bet.
And Vadim's going to try to take the play away. He's betting 300,000.
But he's quickly called by Amnon, and now an ace comes on the turn. And Vadim has taken the lead with 2 aces. Amnon checks the 2 deuces. Vadim checks right behind him.
Cat and mouse, and it only gets better for Vadim with the queen on the river hitting him 2 pair.
Well, Amnon checks the deuces again.
And now Vadim squinting like he's confused. Should he bet, should he not? Beautiful performance.
700.
He's going to bet 700,000 with the top 2 pair. And some people would say Amnon is guilty of FPS here, Vince.
Hey, keep it clean, Mike.
Well, that is clean. It's called fancy play syndrome.
Oh, yes.
You know, when you try to re-raise a guy with a 7 deuce offsuit, you just want to show him the bluff when you win the pot and giggle at him. But it's backfired here on Amnon. And it's really going to backfire if he comes over the top right here for more chips. But he doesn't. He lays his hand down. So with that pot, Vadim takes the chip lead.
And that is Nick Schulman, the WPT champion, and the coach of Vadim Trencher, sitting in the audience, rooting his man on.
Well, Vadim's son, Ilya, quite a poker player himself, sitting right beside Nick Schulman there, as well as WPT champ Eugene Ketchelov. So those are 3 sharp young minds rooting the old man in.
Yep. Vadim is now our new chip leader again with 4.4 million.
You started to bluff.
It's heads up. What am I going to do?
Play your hand.
As Vadim's table talk a little bit, put the needle in him.
All right, I won't bluff if you don't bluff.
Okay.
Two liars at the table.
Well, that cracks up Amnon when he hears Vadim says he's not going to bluff anymore.
All right, action going to Amnon. And this time he has a pretty solid pair of nines.
150.
Big hand. He is going to raise it. He makes it 150,000 to go.
And Vadim with the king jack.
It's not a bad hand playing heads up poker, but he's beat right now. Let's see what he's going to do though with the king jack.
400.
He's going to raise it to 400,000, just like Amnon did the first pot. It backfired on Amnon. Will it backfire on Vadim? Well, Vince, if I was Amnon here, I'd just come over the top with a big bet.
Well, I have to agree. You got the pair of nines. You got to bully him out. If you beat, you beat. Try to take the pot right now. Don't let the guy catch something on you.
On the other hand, you're in position against him on the button. And Amnon's opting just to look at a flop first. So he just makes the call, does not re-raise here. Here comes a flop. Let's come king, six, deuce. Vadim has taken the lead with two kings, and he checks.
Just what you don't want if you're Amnon.
Well, Amnon wisely checks the two nines behind him. Doesn't want to fall in a trap here. Now a six comes off.
Pairs the board.
Well, Vadim has the best hand with kings and sixes. And now he's reaching to make a wager.
400.
And he's going to bet 400,000. And that bet is quickly called by Amnon.
Yep. And look at Amnon shoot the look as he's putting his chips in. Wanted to see a response by Vadim.
Vince, it's hard not to call with two nines there when your opponent checked the flop on you.
600.
And now it's a $600,000 bet.
This is a Russian torture chamber if you're Amnon.
Just walking the dog here a little to get out of him what he can. And Amnon does make the call with the nines. He's going to lose this pot. And Vince, here's a pot where Amnon lost over $1.5 million. And you wonder if he wouldn't won about 400 had he just come right over the top and moved all in with the two nines before the flop.
Well, it proves timid play can really cost you. That one hurt Amnon. But the two players will battle to the finish in just a few moments here on the World Poker Tour. Stay with us.
Tonight's World Poker Tour brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour and the Foxwoods Poker Classic. Andy's going up to 10,000. Blinds are 40 and 80 as the heads-up battle continues.
And as you can see, Vadim Trencher has taken a commanding chip lead in this heads-up battle. They started about even in chips, but after the first couple hands, Vadim has a 4-1 chip lead.
Yep, Vadim this time with the button has a pair of nines. And yes, he's going to raise, going to make it 240,000 to go.
Well, Amnon with just a king 4 offsuit wants to see a flop, so he makes the call. Here comes the flop. Oh, it's come king 6-5, a great flop for Amnon. He's now out in front with the two kings and checks them. And Vadim checks the two nines right behind him.
It only gets better for Amnon. Kings and fours now on the turn.
250.
And because of the flush possibilities and straight possibilities, Amnon now going to bet 250,000.
Nines mean nothing in this game anymore. So it's $250,000.
Well, Vadim with the two nines think they might be the best hand.
Yep.
As it turns out, the only way he can win the pot is if he catches the 9 of hearts on the river. The 9 of clubs won't help him.
He's not trusting Amnon. Pot swelling up here, river card.
Oh, when a king comes off, Amnon has a full house, kings full of fours, a dream card for him.
Check.
Well, he's going to check it.
Yep.
Just in case. Vadim was just on a drawing hand, wants to give him a chance to bluff at the pot. But Vadim's sitting there with two nines, and I would think they were the best hand if I was him, the way this hand was played.
350.
He's going to bet 350,000, trying to sneak in a little value bet there, but this value is going to pot because Amnon has a full house, and Vince, he's put on his acting hat.
I'm all in.
Well, Amnon does go all in with kings full. Vince, now Vadim has got a tough decision here. He's got two nines. There's over $2.5 million in the pot. It's going to cost him about $800,000 more to make the call, so he's getting a huge price on his money. If he wins the pot, the turn-on will be over, but what he's thinking is, would this guy really bluff off his last money here? And that's what he's got to figure out. If he doesn't think the guy would bluff his last money off, he should throw the nines away.
Yeah, he's well invested, but he makes a very shrewd laydown, saves that last 820.
Let me tell you, that is a great laydown in my mind, because he had so many chips. Many people would have called another 800, just hoping that if they won the pot, the tournament's over. Vadim opted to save that 800,000.
The crowd really interested in this result tonight. A WPT title on the line, as well as over 750,000. Let's go to the table. Amnon Filippi now with the button. And a measly old Jack 4.
And he's creeped up to 2 million in chips again. And he's going to try to stay aggressive here, it looks like. He's getting out some raisin chips, even though it's a junk hand. You like to maintain the lead, especially in position on the button, and he is raising it to 175,000.
Into Vadim, who has a little suited connector, 7-6 of spades.
1.8.
Vadim always wanted to know the other guy's chip sack.
And you know, Vince, players don't have to answer him.
No.
They have to just remove their hands and show them how many chips there are, let the dealer counter or something, but you don't have to speak to your opponent. Everybody has so far when Vadim is asking.
And Vadim is just going to call it.
So he makes the call with the suited connectors, and here comes the flop, Jack 5-5. Amnon has flopped jacks and 5s. Vadim has flopped a flush draw. Vadim is checked.
And now Amnon with his Motown hand, jacks and 5s. He's going to stick out 300,000.
Now what do you do with the flush draw here? Vadim is getting out raising chips, it looks like. He's hoping his guy's got something like ace-9 or something, might throw his hand away, but as it is, his opponent's got 2 jacks. He raised it $500,000 more.
You're calling me, huh? That's what you're telling me?
No matter what.
I believe him.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
All right, I'm all in.
Wow.
But Amnon is moving all in. He just thinks Jack's up with the best hand right now.
I call.
He's been called by Vadim. As the cards lie, Amnon almost a 2-to-1 favorite to win this pot and double up and take the chip lead in this heads-up battle. Vadim needs to catch a spade to make a flush, or 2 running cards to make a straight. Obviously, running 7s or running 6s will win it for him as well. But right now, he is behind Amnon, out in front, with a great chance to double up and take the lead.
Good luck, sir.
Well, he says good luck, but you know he doesn't mean that.
Here we go with a turn.
Well, the 8 of spade comes off.
Oh, man, Vadim has hit his flush.
It's not over yet, though. Amnon can catch a jack or a 5 and make a full house, but he must catch a jack or a 5, or this tournament is history.
Amnon going to the rail, to his friends, to his wife.
I knew that flush draw.
He needs a miracle right now.
And he said, I knew he had a flush draw.
Good game.
Vadim 1 card away from a title holder. Here comes the river.
Well, it's a king of spade, so that's going to do it. The successful businessman out of New York City, Vadim Trencher, is our champion. And once again, at a final table, Amnon Filippi cannot quite cross the finish line. But what a show he put on this week, Vince.
Vadim Trencher is our champion. Going to take home $731,000, a WPT title, as he gets a big hug from the wife.
Nice now.
Clear him.
Well, there you have it. Another great final table here on the World Poker Tour.
Congratulations to our champion. And on behalf of Vince Van Patten and everyone at the WPT, I'm Mike Sexton saying until next time, may all your cards be live and your pots be monster.
Yeah, all right.
I don't understand what this is for.